How are we all doing?
Great.
Good. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. We're going to open up the Q&A after this, and there I'm just going to flow off questions and really dive in because there's a lot here. There's a lot here. So much could be said. This is probably the biggest phase that is needed and necessary in moving with the ebb and flow of the process in manifestation. No tension. So we went from intention to attention to no tension. And the more we move through this process, the more our dreams will come into view, which will inspire a greater aligned action, alignment, and creation. It will inspire deeper meaning in life. And also, it'll be more clear on what your immediate mission or intent is for the next cycle, next phase of your journey here, okay? And the intent, the sparking, like we love excitement, we love inspiration, we love feeling good, we love moving into life. But that can't happen. We can't experience life if we don't accept death, if we don't accept no tension and actually delight in this. So I'm going to give you guys a story just to kind of like sum up a very recent experience I had of no tension and why and how it's so powerful. 2 days ago, it was kind of like rainy and cloudy, and I was feeling so empty. I was feeling so depressed. I didn't want to do like anything that I usually like doing. Like life seemed bleak, like the mundane routine of things. And honestly, I just ended up in a hammock over at my partner's house for like a couple hours, just like sitting there, like really depressed. And the thing is, I let myself be depressed. I accepted the depression. I accepted the emptiness I was feeling within and literally just watched it play out. I didn't react to it. I didn't like try to like jump up and do some state control or try to force myself to do something that my inner being knows. I knew I was on the ebb of life. I knew in the rhythm, the grand scheme of things, the energy rises and then it falls. And if we can let ourselves be depressed, if we can let ourselves just be as we are and give ourselves space to be in no tension, maybe a day off where instead of like all the busyness and chores that you think you should assign yourself and whatnot, go breathe in the forest, bring a small snack, and all these things that you thought you should do just like fall away, okay? No tension is where we find our compass. And that experience of emptiness, that feeling of accepting depression, I had the wisdom to know that I was at the ebb of a flow and that the pendulum was bound to swing. And if I could honor the ebb, I will honor the flow. And, you know, today I was feeling so inspired knowing this class was coming up, working through these blueprints, and just like the energy is ripe and fresh again because I allowed myself to dissolve. So this is the disillusionment process of alchemy. So in alchemy, we went from formlessness. We sparked an intention, right? Actually, I have this right up here. We went from nothing, from formlessness. We sparked an intention. We crystallized that intention through concentration and action, right? And this is where we assumed a role. We assumed one thing, like being one thing. Now it's time as the energy wanes, as the moon like wanes, back to new moon, of releasing, okay? And restoring. This is where the will is replenished. This is where the clarity is born. And also, this is where your compass is found. This is where your emotional energy is unlocked. This is where like epiphanies happen. In the no tension phase, everything we just crystallized. Let's say we're like writing a book and we just had an intense phase of writing a chapter. Then we take a week off. And in that no tension, the epiphanies occur. Our reality will reflect to us, right? So that's kind of like an overview of the disillusionment process in alchemy, where we crystallize, we dissolve, we remove the impurities, and then we crystallize the base material again, right? Dissolve it, remove the impurities until we transcend from lead to gold. We ascend base energies into more noble and harmonized energies. And by going through this whole process and really practicing this no tension phase, you will continue to see shifts and change in your life. If life is becoming very stagnant, a lot of force is needed. No tension is required. No tension is, there's two parts to it. We have A and then B. B is for the powerhouses. So breathing and beingness. I think about it as breath work, taking a day off and going into nature. Surrendering in faith and loving awareness. Faith and loving awareness. Why is faith and loving awareness keys? Of the 7 people I heard, quite a few mentioned fear. Fear about stepping into a new way of being. Fear about, your own greatness. Fear of actually letting go fully, of letting go of the form in which you created, of letting yourself dissolve. Maybe it's fear of letting love go, letting that energy and that romance go. Fear of letting your goals and dreams go. I see so many people out here hustling. Everyone's trying to hustle life and they don't honor the no tension. They don't honor the ebb. Therefore, they never move with power. When we surrender in faith and loving awareness, we allow ourselves to be as we are. And guess what? Faith is the polarity of fear. If we experience a lot of fear, which is experienced as needing to control life, projecting onto life, holding on to a past memory of what it once felt like, of, needing to hold on to your goals and dreams. The moment you actually can let them go, the moment you will realize them. The moment you can let yourself go, the moment you will realize a greater version of yourself. Surrendering is actually where the transformation occurs. Surrendering is where all transformation occurs. Faith. We cannot surrender without faith. I had a really powerful experience a few months back of going into the forest with my partner and kind of having like a ceremony out there. And in ceremony, we're connecting and realizing the spirit that moves in all things. We're realizing that, holy hell, you know what? I am perfect in this moment. Everything I have been, everything I am, and everything I will be, man, I have faith. I realize that I think I think I'm creating all this, but I'm being so divinely guided. One conversation led to this, now I'm doing events with him, kind of thing. Realizing that the mother beneath you is supporting you, that the divine is supporting you. And this allows you the greater capacity of faith you have. Faith that you can let go actually communicates to your being that it's okay to let go of what you think you are, of what you think you should do, letting go of all the dogma of how you think you should be, of right and wrong, and just surrendering to see what is, surrendering and loving awareness. We cannot surrender if we react to pain, if we react to darkness within us, if we're not honoring and feeling the depression, feeling the fatigue. By feeling, we are healing. By simply being present with loving awareness towards the uncomfortability, towards the elements around us, towards our path and all the pains and fears we have. The more loving awareness we can shed on those things, the more space we open up for movement to occur. And through this process, through this connection and letting go, what happens is our cup is emptied. The cup goes from full to empty, and the waters settle. Faith and loving awareness are keys to no tension. Faith, loving awareness, and breath. Breathing in totality. Being as you are. Simple presence, not doing. The more you can honor this aspect of yourself, the more capacity you will have to move powerfully into the world, to be inspired, to realize the other side of the pendulum. So part A in no tension, getting into the power, is surrendering, feeling what you feel, and being as you are. Can you just be as you are? Cry, authentically express yourself, be happy. Stop carrying, maybe you have to go away from other people, be alone so that you don't have to be in the shell, this form that you've created, so you can become formless. Honor pain, honor death. Death is the gift we give up to God, and life is the gift he gives in return. Stillness is the key in phase A. Stillness and surrendering. Just being still. It's hard, especially in this very fast-paced world. It's very hard. Part B. This is where some of this like spiritual aspiration and highest truth comes into play. I call this practicing the sun state. From within that place of stillness, after the waters have settled and you have a perfect awareness, now you start practicing perfect awareness. You start practicing perfect full presence. I like to do this breathing. I sit upright, maybe in a chair on the ground. Sometimes I look in the mirror. And what you're actually doing is you're in a space of emptiness. You are burning the true fire. You're burning the Shiva principle. Shiva is the destroyer. Shiva in Hindu mythology is the masculine, superior, empty self. You could think about it as literal spirit. And why Shiva, or the sun state, is spirit is because it's the fastest moving and smallest, most subtle particle. It's the subtle, empty, superior self. You see, manifestation happens from outside in, okay? Spirit circumscribes itself and manifests inside, okay? So for manifestation to occur or dissolving to occur, what we must do is hold ourselves in perfect alignment. Really embrace the state in which you want to create, the state of samadhi, the state of wa, which is perfect, even intellect. When you are breathing into the body, and even though you might be feeling tension in all these different places you want to contract, holding the body in perfect alignment, breathing and exhaling and literally dying to your body and doing that process over and over until all that remains is perfect alignment. Holding your mind perfectly open, right? Maybe on a single focal point or eyes closed. Breathing in and exhaling, and when you exhale, imagining that literally like just accepting all the tension, all the thoughts and whatnot, and holding perfect even intellect in your mind until all dissolves away. A lot can be communicated here. This gets a little bit esoteric, but a very easy way to understand it is part A is surrendering meditation, calming your body, clearing the mind, and being as you are. It's very soft. It's the water, okay? This is the water. Here is the spirit or the fire is part B. And this is being wakeful in your complete tranquility. When you're surrendered, or alerting your mind to wakefulness, bringing your body into a state of fearless openness and holding yourself open until like the spiritual fire is all that remains. It's an intensity of aspiration, okay? Like Jesus said, you must be born of the waters and the fires, or the waters and the spirit. He is talking about the Shiva principle and the disillusionment of form to be reborn into space. The quintessence right here that I'm drawing is the element of space, okay? And up here, we see that in between the no tension and intention, we have the space element. This space element is your powerhouse. This is where your will is literally harnessed. You are gathering all pieces of yourself, your mind, emotions, and whatnot. After the waters have settled, you're concentrating them in and burning the vision of your power, like literally breathing into your solar glory. This is why it's called the sun state, okay? In the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, it talks about the sun state. In a more simple way, it's just being awake and alert in your body, being fully present with what is going on. The samurais have this practice of wa, and wa is oneness, one unity. And as the samurais practice, after they like literally meditate on a dignified death, dying with dignity, literally imagining dying today, that imagination, like that realization that death is around the corner, like brings your presence screaming into existence. All of you comes into being, and life is realized because you accepted the potential of death. And that wa is a perfect peace and tranquility with what is. Oftentimes we're reacting or thinking that we're incomplete, or when we're trying to practice this kind of meditation, all of a sudden, like we think that I'm not enough or my presence is fractured. But by accepting a place of incompleteness, we become complete, right? By accepting what is, the feelings of what is, and just letting them be what they are, accepting the fear and all the shit, all of a sudden peace is realized. It's not about desiring peace, it's about literally being peace and acceptance. Samadhi means even intellect from Ayurvedic tradition, a perfectly balanced mind. Samadhi, the Buddha likes to talk about it as the illuminated mind. It's a stillness, silence, and oneness with all around you. Both of these, like it's kind of like this, like you could think about it as if the birds off in the distance, the traffic around you, the earth beneath you, the thoughts internally, the feelings internally, all of a sudden your awareness zooms out and it's all in just one awareness. It's all just one music happening within your being, right? You're in that empty superior self where all things are flowing. Enough said there. That gets a little bit esoteric, but I wanted to really point you guys towards a huge place of power, and that is the sun state. That is after the surrendering. This is where the will is harnessed, the being is completed, and this is where your will is restored and your compass revealed. From that place, divine inspiration can be realized, which moves you into inspired action. From that place, power. You get familiar with this place of power where it's like, whoa, I can actually be like power. I can be the cause of my whole being. I can really harness my whole being. And the more you practice that samadhi state, the more you practice that no tension state, that even intellect state, wow, all of a sudden you can realize you can do anything. You don't need anything externally because you are harnessing the powers inside. Now, to wrap up this section of the talk, we'll have 30 minutes of a Q&A after this, is I have 2 poems here that describe no tension beautifully. And no tension, this aspect of the Trinity of manifestation, is a lot of where these wisdom teachings come into play. So I want everyone to take a deep breath here. Let's take a deep breath with me. Let's shake it out. And exhale. Come into this moment. Just open yourself to receiving. Get deep. Get deep. So again, this is about no tension. This is expressing no tension. Get deep. Feel the truth with an attitude of openness, of acceptance. Be with the darkness. Breathe in everything. Surrender in faith. Faith in loving awareness. Enter the mystery fearlessly. Yield. Give in. Go with it. Allow life to happen. Observe what is and embrace what is. Observe the breath. Breathe with the universe. Witness your being, the thoughts and the feelings. Witness this moment. The one harmony. Witness the passage of time. Witness eternity. Give yourself fully to yourself. Drop the inhibitions, drop your fears and dogma, and allow yourself to be as you are. So that's kind of like part A of the no tension. This poem goes from part A to part B of the no tension. And I wrote both of these. I have quite a few things like this. These come from my meditations on this. Source yourself in your fullness. Source yourself deep and centered. In the truth beyond the time and tasks. Let your wa grow and kindle. Wa being peace and unity. Let the tides of life flow through you. Open up to the movement of life. Open oneself to what is here and now. Listen to the heartbeat of earth. Feel the rhythm of the day and behold the source of the sun. Soften your shell to all that moves through you. To be friendly with discomfort, welcoming towards the elements. To let the sun rays shine through you. To soften your shields and bask in the day's heat or the ocean's chill. To breathe with the breeze and blend with the sands beneath. Can one accept oneself fully? Can one accept the voids, the lack, the spaces within one wants to fill? Can one accept the hunger, the pain of the mind's or the mind's chatter? Can one accept their incompleteness and therefore be complete? To accept the fractured state as to become whole. Enter and swim in the ocean of faith. Enter and swim in the ocean of faith, accepting the uncertainty, the danger, and the fears of the lurking depths. Yield in her power. Surrender into the tides in faith. To breathe with the ocean of mystery and trust in the movement of the mother and the guiding grace of the Father. To trust in one's place and to stand with dignity, unafraid of the mist about thee. That is no tension. That is the cultivation of Wa. I wrote that on my latest travels down to Panama. And the last thing I want to read to you guys that kind of describes the connection point between no tension and attention, describes this space and this process here. It's first the realization that man is only happy doing that which is meant for him to do, doing what his deepest self craves. That being said, it's time to release who we think we are and what we think we do and become who we are. So in that, discern the truest will, burning while still, burning while still. Movement from the core of one's being, with the word intoned and the true will shown. The heart's intent is born, untainted by the echoes of a world once known. By the word intoned and the true will shown, the heart's intent is born. So after the space of surrender, we enter the space of powerful yet soft beingness, a fullness of presence. Call it samadhi, if you will. And from there, when we are harnessing all the powers of our being, our deepest intention can be birthed from our heart. Our truest will, our truest aspiration, our truest vision of, our glorious self can be born inside. And that is the utmost, most inspiring fuel for aligned creation, inspired action. And when we're in a place of aligned creation, inspired action, manifestation is the consequence. Manifestation is not something we seek, but it's the consequence of a way of being in alignment with our power center, with the source of our being, and in alignment with our true will. Let your true will burn while still. That is the utmost of not doing. So I hope you enjoyed that brief rundown of this blueprint. Now I'm going to take a few deep breaths and look into the chat here. But yeah, thank you all so much. Here we go. Brad. And I want you guys to just take a breath on that. And of that blueprint, really think about what was most inspiring or intriguing to you and where you would like some more clarification. And we have about 20 more minutes here to do that, even longer potentially. So awesome.